The World Economic Forum, WEF, has become one of the most influential and controversial global institutions of the 21st century. Established in 1971 by Professor Klaus Schwab, the WEF began as a platform to bring together business leaders, politicians, academics, and other influential figures to discuss and address global economic issues. Since then, it has grown into a powerful convener of global elites and a key player in shaping international policy on a wide range of topics, including climate change, global trade, technology, and social inequality. One of the most provocative and widely discussed phrases associated with the WEF is the concept that you will own nothing, and you will be happy. This statement, popularized in the context of the WEF's The Great Reset initiative, has sparked intense debate and skepticism among critics who view it as a blueprint for a dystopian future, while supporters see it as a potential pathway to a more sustainable, equitable, and technologically advanced world. In this article, we will explore the World Economic Forum, its role in shaping global economic and political agendas, the origins and implications of the "you will own nothing and you will be happy" narrative, and the various critiques and support that surround it. The World Economic Forum, background and influence. The World Economic Forum, headquartered in Davos, Switzerland, is best known for its annual meetings in the Swiss Alps, which bring together political leaders, business executives, philanthropists, and thought leaders to discuss the most pressing issues facing the world. The WEF claims that its mission is to improve the state of the world by promoting public-private cooperation, fostering economic growth, and addressing global challenges through collaborative efforts. Over the years, the WEF has grown into a powerful global institution, with a significant influence on the political, economic, and social landscapes. It operates as a platform for global decision-making, promoting ideas and policies that can shape the future of capitalism, technology, environmental sustainability, and social equity. However, the WEF's influence has also attracted criticism. Some view the forum as a gathering of the global elite, disconnected from the realities faced by ordinary people. Critics argue that the WEF promotes a neoliberal agenda that favors multinational corporations, oligarchs, and the wealthy, often at the expense of the working class and marginalized communities. One of the most controversial ideas to come out of the WEF in recent years is the concept of the Great Reset, an initiative introduced by Klaus Schwab and the WEF in 2020. The Great Reset is described as a blueprint for a post-pandemic world that calls for a radical restructuring of global capitalism, with an emphasis on sustainability, technological innovation, and social equity. Schwab and his supporters argue that the COVID-19 pandemic offers a unique opportunity to reimagine the global economic system and build a more sustainable and inclusive future. You will own nothing and you will be happy, origins and meaning. The phrase, "you will own nothing and you will be happy," became widely associated with the WEF after it was featured in a 2016 video that was part of the organization's Shaping the Future of the Fourth Industrial Revolution series. The video, which explored the potential impacts of emerging technologies on society, envisioned a future in which ownership of goods and services was radically redefined. In this future, individuals would not necessarily own property, cars, or other material goods but would instead rely on sharing or leasing arrangements. The statement was often cited by critics of the WEF as evidence of a broader agenda to eliminate private ownership and impose a new form of collectivist, technocratic governance. The phrase seemed to encapsulate a vision of a world in which individuals would no longer have personal control over material possessions, with everything from housing to transportation being shared or rented through digital platforms. While the WEF has since clarified that the phrase was taken out of context and does not reflect a formal policy position, the idea has remained a lightning rod for conspiracy theories and debates about the future of capitalism. Some supporters of the "you will own nothing" concept argue that it reflects the inevitable consequences of technological progress, such as the rise of the sharing economy, or access economy, in which ownership is replaced by access to services or experiences. Proponents suggest that this shift in ownership would have several benefits. For example, it could lead to a more efficient allocation of resources, reduce environmental waste, and provide people with greater flexibility in their lifestyles. Rather than owning a car, for example, individuals could simply use ride-sharing services when needed, which would reduce the number of cars on the road and decrease carbon emissions. However, the idea of a future where ownership is limited or eliminated raises significant concerns about personal freedom, economic inequality, and the role of government and corporations in people's lives. The Great Reset and the future of ownership. The concept of, "you will own nothing and you will be happy," is deeply tied to the WEF's broader vision for the Great Reset. This initiative, launched in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, calls for a comprehensive overhaul of the global economic system, with a focus on creating a more sustainable and equitable world. The Great Reset encompasses a range of policy proposals, including 1. Redesigning capitalism. The WEF advocates for a shift away from traditional forms of capitalism that prioritize shareholder profits toward a more stakeholder-driven model that considers the interests of workers, communities, and the environment. 2. Climate action. The Great Reset emphasizes the need for rapid action to address climate change, calling for large-scale investments in clean energy, sustainable infrastructure, and green technologies. 3. Digital transformation. The WEF envisions the widespread adoption of digital technologies, including artificial intelligence, automation, and blockchain, which will reshape industries and workforces. 4. Social inclusion. The initiative stresses the importance of reducing inequality and ensuring that the benefits of economic growth are shared more equitably across society. Within this framework, the idea of reduced ownership is presented as part of a broader move toward a circular economy, where resources are used more efficiently, waste is minimized, and people have access to what they need without the necessity of owning everything. This would be facilitated by technologies such as digital platforms that allow people to rent or share goods and services rather than purchasing them outright. In theory, proponents argue that this model could reduce the environmental impact of overconsumption, promote more sustainable living, and free individuals from the burden of ownership. With the rise of the gig economy, subscription services, and sharing platforms, some see this as an inevitable trend, with digital technologies providing the infrastructure for a new economic model. Criticisms and concerns. Despite the positive rhetoric surrounding the Great Reset and the "you will own nothing" concept, there are significant criticisms of this vision for the future. Some of the key concerns include 1. Loss of personal freedom and autonomy. Critics argue that eliminating private ownership could result in a loss of individual agency. Ownership is not only a financial transaction, it is also tied to personal identity, autonomy, and control. If everything is rented or leased, individuals may lose the ability to make independent choices about their lives, as they become increasingly dependent on centralized platforms and corporations. 2. Corporate control. One of the most significant concerns is that the shift away from private ownership could lead to an increase in corporate power. In a world where individuals no longer own their homes or cars, large multinational companies could dominate the provision of essential services. Critics worry that this could exacerbate inequality, with a few large corporations controlling access to housing, transportation, and other basic necessities. 3. Technocratic governance. Some fear that the WEF's vision of the future could lead to a technocratic society in which unelected experts and global elites make decisions that affect everyone. This could further erode democratic processes and create a system where the voices of ordinary people are marginalized. 4. Economic inequality. While the WEF advocates for a more inclusive economy, critics argue that its proposals could disproportionately benefit the wealthy and powerful. For example, the transition to a digital economy could leave millions of workers behind, exacerbating inequality and creating a permanent underclass of people who do not have access to the new economy's benefits. Conclusion. The World Economic Forum and its Great Reset initiative have sparked an important global debate about the future of capitalism, technology, and social equity. The phrase, "you will own nothing, and you will be happy," has become a symbol of the WEF's ambitious vision for the future, one in which ownership and consumption are radically redefined. While proponents argue that this vision could lead to a more sustainable, efficient, and equitable world, critics warn that it could undermine personal freedom, increase corporate control, and exacerbate inequality. As the world grapples with the challenges of climate change, technological disruption, and economic inequality, the WEF's ideas will continue to provoke intense debate. Whether the future will be one where individuals own less but live better remains to be seen, but it is clear that the issues raised by the WEF's agenda are central to shaping the global economy of tomorrow.